Hey everybody, welcome back to Merged. It's Deanna, and on this episode, we are going to continue on with Confessions of a Stepdaughter. Mandy and I have another question to ask each other. Her question to me is, at what point did I want to call it quits as a stepmom? Did I? Maybe. You'll have to watch to find out. And I asked Mandy what it was like to be an active teenager during transition days, having two homes in two different states. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thanks. Okay, next question.
Okay, so what, if you, thinking back over the 21 years, can you pinpoint a time, and maybe the one that really just sticks out to you the most, where you felt just ultimately defeated, like, I don't know that I can continue being? One time.
One time. Okay, so I don't know if you were too young to remember this. I'm totally going to have to get Jessica's permission for this video.
Probably for a lot of your stories.
I know that, like, oh, it's always about Jessica, but really, she was the one that gave me she's the one that helped me get my stepmom badge.
That'll be a good video. Everybody stay tuned for when that
sure,
interview comes.
For sure. So, I remember you guys, when you moved to Arizona from California, we still got to see you every other week. So you would either drive out with Mike or you would fly out every other weekend. And a lot of times, the whole family would hinge on what Jessica's emotional state was. And if she was happy, it was a good weekend. If she was pissed, it was a bad weekend. And we all kind of did the eggshell thing. It wasn't just me. It was like all of us. And I realized at one point when I would get like physically ill knowing that you guys were coming in. Stephanie lived with us already. But, you know, I would be like so nervous and having anxiety. I'm like, I can't do that. I cannot let this kid emotionally hijack me anymore. And so I looked at your dad and I'm like, listen, you have a great weekend with the girls. I'm going to leave Jordan here. She can be with her sisters. I'm going to go stay at my mom and dad's house. And I'm like, okay. And he thought I was nuts. He's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I can't not do that for my own sanity. Like, I must leave. I can't be around her.
I don't know that I remember.
Oh, yeah.
You not
This
being
was
there.
the big pivotal point. And we were in the Dominican Republic, and some things went on at your house in Arizona. And Jessica reached out and somehow got a hold of your dad. We were in the middle of the jungle at an all-inclusive resort that was like all about outdoor adventure, you know. And so I'm sitting there. Your dad's on the phone with your mom. And the next thing you know, I just had this huge peace come over me. I can only attribute it to God. This huge peace come over me, and I'm kind of half listening to the conversation, but I get the gist that I know she's coming to live with us full time. So if she's coming to live with us full time, I can't very well go to my mom's house because then I wouldn't be living with my husband, and I need to live with my husband. But it was just this piece of, okay, I can't run away. I need to face this. She's going to be in the house 24/7. I'm the adult. She's a broken kid. I need to be the one that figures out how this comes together. And so one of the things we did, and she was very defeated when she came. She didn't know she was coming. There were a lot of pieces of information that didn't quite jive with what we thought was going on. And so I thought, okay, let's do a clean slate. And I'm like, let's do this. Let's put you in the same room as Stephanie. You can have the bigger room. We'll move Jordan to the small room. And then let's go pick out furniture for you. Pick out whatever color paint you want to do, however you want to decorate your room. Like, this needs to be your space. And I think that's kind of where it began. But also the 5 love languages, knowing that she's quality time, and she wanted your dad's time, and I wanted your dad's time, and your dad wanted to spend time with both of us. It was me really stepping back saying, you need to spend time with Jessica. Like, we need to get her to a healthy spot. I think that was the lowest point, but because I really was not able to run away, that helped me grow the most of anything I went through. Okay, my next question for you. So we were talking about you flying in or driving in every
Mhm.
other weekend. So when you left California on our wedding day, your mom wanted to move to Arizona, and your dad didn't want to put up a fight because he didn't want to break up siblings. And you guys would fly in or drive in every other weekend. What was transition like for you? So we call those transition days where you go from one house to the other, and it's like you're living Monday through Friday for 2 weeks in a row in one type of environment. You can look at it like one country,
Yeah.
and then you come to our house and it's a different environment. You're only there for maybe 48 hours twice a month.
Yeah.
And we're in another country. So what was that like?
Well, I would say the actual transition itself, it was always kind of fun for me because I was younger, so it was either Jessica and I got to fly by ourselves, and that was kind of neat, or we got a special road trip. But the actual being moved from one house to another, granted, I had a lot of experience with that before leaving California when our parents were separated. And so packing up and going from one place to another, that was already kind of, I already had a history with that. But actually going from one state to another, I think what was the hardest for me is when I would come to visit you guys and at a certain point I was the only one who wasn't living with you. It was more like I was just camping. Is the best way I can describe it. So when Stephanie and Jessica did live with you guys in Jordan, I would share a room with Jordan, and it was like I was camping. Like nothing in that room was mine. I remember I did get to put up a Britney Spears poster.
Woo.
that was pretty exciting for me, but that to me was hard. I packed in my clothes. I packed them out. So the time that I was there, it was like living in another country.
Yeah.
But the actual act of doing it was kind of fun. It did. It got harder, obviously, and I think this is where that piece of loyalty comes into play when I got older, and knowing that I needed to go see Dad this weekend, but I also have something
Fun, like a
with
dance.
Friends. There was a school
friends,
dance. There was a friend's birthday party that everybody was going to be at, and it was that internal struggle that I always had, where I wanted to go spend time because I knew that it was maybe 4 days a month that Dad got to see me, but I also really wanted to have this social life, and
Sure.
I was definitely a social butterfly when I was in school.
Still are.
And so that, I think, again, this theme of loyalty came into play of like, I want to spend this time with Dad. And I know he wants it, but I also have this other side. And it wasn't as simple as like, oh, I'll catch you next weekend because the flights are already booked. Or it was already a scheduled time that Mike was coming out to see his sons in California. And so it was either I do it this weekend or I don't, and then Dad doesn't get to see me.
Yeah.
And that was really hard.
I could see that.
And it's a lot different when you live. I would imagine it would be a lot different if you lived within the same state, the same city.
Sure.
Where it can be like, hey, I'm just going to do this dance tonight. I'll be over after.
Well, I think that there are a lot of step families out there that have a distance between the parents, the biological parents, and it may be a 6-hour drive like what you did, or it could be a 2-hour drive. But even if it's a 2-hour drive, I mean, it's still two different places, two different lives. So.